When people think Bitcoin, they think the money of the future. And to some degree, that's correct. It was the first cryptocurrency, which is now what AIs are using to transact. But I think Satoshi had a much larger vision that no one is talking about, to incentivize the build out of a global decentralized compute network. And right now in 2026, we're watching that play out real time. In this video, I'm going to break down what that actually means, why I believe it, and what's already happening that proves this thesis. So when I say Bitcoin was built to incentivize global decentralized compute, what does that actually mean? Well, most people think Bitcoin mining was a way to create new coins and secure the transactions on the network. That's true. But if you zoom out and look at what Bitcoin's actually built beneath the surface, Satoshi created a system that pays people around the world to run computers. And not just any computers, powerful ones that are connected to each other, competing to contribute more compute. The reward was Bitcoin, but the result is a global, decentralized, distributed computing network that nobody forced anybody to build. Nobody coordinated it from the top. It wasn't one large organization like Google or Amazon. The incentive did all the work. Bitcoin's white paper was published in October of 2028 on the 31st of that month. It's proof of work. You contribute compute power and you get rewarded in tokens for doing so. The more compute you contribute, the more you will likely earn. This pulled computing resources from around the world into a single decentralized network. No CEO, no headquarters, no central server, just incentive. And Satoshi figured out how to use economic rewards to organize global infrastructure development without a centralized authority. That's the thesis. Bitcoin didn't just create the money of the future. It created a blueprint for using tokens as incentive to build out global decentralized compute and the infrastructure that AI is going to need to be able to operate at scale. So here's where it gets interesting. Because AI has exactly the same problem Bitcoin was designed to solve, the AI compute problem, you're going to now see a lot of people transitioning their Bitcoin mining over to AI compute. You have to have it in order to be able to train and run AI models that require enormous amounts of GPU power. Right now, the power is concentrated in a few hands. Those large companies that I talked about just a minute ago. OpenAI has raised $122 billion. This year, in February 2026, it was the largest private funding round in history, valuing the company at $852 billion. Amazon invested $50 billion alone in that round. Nvidia just reported $81.6 billion in a single quarter, up 85% year over year. The compute needed to run AI is consolidating into a few powerful players' hands at an extraordinary rate. Bitcoin was created because financial infrastructure was controlled by too few central intermediaries, supposedly. AI compute is headed in the same direction. A small number of companies controlling the GPU that train and run the AI systems that the world depends on. The same centralization Bitcoin was designed to solve for in finance is now happening in AI. And the solution is the same. Token incentives that will pool compute resources from around the world into a decentralized network. But many of these contracts and facilities that do provide this compute are now contracting with Google and Amazon and Nvidia and Microsoft in order for them to be able to sell their GPU and compute on large contracts that are actually more valuable than mining the Bitcoin. And this isn't theoretical. And that's the part that most people are completely missing. It's already underway. The pivot is happening. Bitcoin mining infrastructure is physically converting to AI compute at a massive scale right now. Mining revenue is projected to drop from 85% of total revenue in early 2025 to under 20% by late 2026 for companies that have already pivoted. These are publicly traded companies with billions in infrastructure that are moving away from mining Bitcoin and moving their compute over to supporting AI. Iron just signed a 5-year contract for $9.7 billion with Microsoft to supply GPU compute infrastructure. Hut 8 entered into a 15-year, $7 billion lease with FluidStack, which is backed by Google, with options to include Anthropic. Core Science, Mara Holdings, Riot Platforms, and TeraWolf are all converting their facilities to support AI compute. And Bitfarms announced a full wind down of their Bitcoin mining by the end of 2027 to pivot their entire compute toward AI. So what does this actually mean? The infrastructure that Bitcoin built to secure a financial network is now being repurposed to power artificial intelligence. The global compute network Satoshi's incentive model created is becoming the foundation for AI infrastructure. And I don't know if he planned for that or not. but it's a great blueprint and it's exactly how it's working out. So before I get into the networks specifically designed to take this even further, I want you to understand what's happening in the crypto space. And if you want to learn from industry experts, you can join the Beyond Broke Mastermind, which is in the links below. And if you need help structuring your digital assets before the next wave hits and we do see significant price appreciation, you can always reach out and visit digitalfamilyoffice.io as well. So Bitcoin miners are pivoting to AI, and that's kind of the first phase. But here's the second phase, and it's already being built on top of it. So here's some of the networks that are actually already applying Bitcoin's model and its incentives to AI. Bittensor, or Tau, which many people know it as, is a decentralized marketplace for AI model training. Their miners contribute compute and model outputs, and the validators evaluate the quality of those outputs. And then those Tau tokens are distributed as rewards based on performance. Render, that's another one, a decentralized GPU network. And you need GPU power to run all of the AI workloads. And they pay you in, guess what? Render token. GPU owners contribute their hardware and earn render, just like people that earn Bitcoin for building out that infrastructure. And the last is Akash, a decentralized cloud compute platform. Anyone can rent GPU power for their AI workloads at a marketplace without going through a centralized provider. The pattern is identical to Bitcoin. Contribute compute, earn tokens, the network grows. No central authority, no central point of control, just incentives that organize global infrastructure. These projects are applying the blueprint Satoshi created in 2008 directly to AI infrastructure in 2026. And this scale is huge for what's being built. AI compute marketplaces are projected to hit $200 billion in the next few years. Decentralized networks are positioning to capture a very meaningful share of that by removing the gatekeepers. Bittensor, Render, and Akash are already live with real users, real workloads, and real token economies that are driving this innovation and build out of this infrastructure. So what does this actually mean for you? If you own Bitcoin, it should scare you a little bit. I don't know what the outcome of Bitcoin is going to be over the long term. I'm kind of like Sailor. I think it's 1 million or 0, but this is going to cause a consolidation of miners. And if we don't see Bitcoin's price continue to rise in this next cycle, like it always has, a lot of people are going to be pivoting away from mining transactions on the network and pivoting their infrastructure over to support AI because it's going to be more lucrative. So I don't know if this thesis is right or not, but it is a trend that I'm seeing, and I thought it might happen even 2 years ago. To see it come to reality after the conversations I've had in the last few weeks is really, really surreal, to be honest with you, to see this actually happening, the pivot of this infrastructure moving from, mining Bitcoin over to AI. And Bitcoin did create the currency of the future. AI is going to use cryptocurrency to be able to transact, but I don't know that it's going to be Bitcoin. That is yet to be seen. So it may have been just a proof of concept for the entire model, using tokens to build global decentralized AI compute and the infrastructure required to support that and the currency that they would need in order to be able to transact. And that's the model. It's how it's being applied to the most important technology of our entire lifetime. And it may have been on purpose. So in closing, Satoshi figured out how to use tokens as incentive to build out global decentralized compute, the infrastructure required to support it without any central authority. The model secured the financial network of Bitcoin for the last 15 years, and now it's being applied to the most important technological build out of our entire lifetime. Whatever he did intend, whether it was for this to happen or not, the design worked, and the blueprint and the build out is already underway. So if you want to understand how to position yourself ahead of this, we'd love to see you in the Beyond Broke Mastermind. Links down below. And if you're ready to structure your digital assets properly before this next wave hits, go ahead and go visit digitalfamilyoffice.io, and we can make sure that you are set up with creditor protection, make sure you mitigate taxes, have everything that you need to be able to ride this innovation and this wave as your assets appreciate. But until next time, stay ahead of the curve, stay curious, and we'll see you on the next one.